Hi everybody, Don Giannatti, lighting-essentials.com, project52prosystem.com for those of you wanting a real challenge for the year and to get your work up to speed, and dongiannetti.com. Just go over to my website. I'm a coach and a mentor, and I'm standing by ready to help you achieve your goals. So let's get going. We're going to talk about marketing for photographers. Let me give a little background. This is a talk I gave at Capture PhotoCon here in Phoenix back in May, and I've been toying with different ways to do this. I thought, well, if I do the presentation, it might end up being too long of a video, but at the same time, if I break it up, I just don't know if the message is going to get through. So here's the deal. This is my view of marketing. It's based on a lot of research, based on a lot of working with an awful lot of photographers out there, looking around and seeing what's going on, and the fact that I bring about 40 years of doing this to the table. So take it for what it is, and if you disagree, no problem there at all. We are not made to follow orders. We do what we want. So I'm going to give you my ideas, my reasoning. You take it for what it's worth. It is an incredibly brave new world for marketing out there. You know, back in the day, we had really just three ways of getting out to people. We could do direct mail, send them postcards, brochures, and some of us spent a lot of money developing multi-pages, little booklets, etc. We had the workbook style thing, and that would be like the Black Book or the California Workbook or the different books that would come out once a year. Now, the problem with once a year was, number one, they were very expensive, really, really expensive. We're talking in 1986 or 87, I bought 2 pages in a workbook, and it cost me about $8,000 in that money. Today, that would be what? $17,000. And that book would go out and it would sit on somebody's desk, and they would turn to it and go through it, which is really great. The problem was, of course, that the images were done so far in advance to get the thing into print that it, they're looking at last year's images, and only 3 of them. And then, of course, personal appointments. And personal appointments were easier to get back in the day. They really were than they are now. That's just a fact of life. There's a lot of photographers. There's a lot of work. There's a lot going on. And, we would call up folks 3 or 4 times, finally get an appointment, go down and show them our portfolio, and we would go from there. That was it. Today we have more choices. We have all of those. Direct mail still works. Workbook advertising still works, I'm told. I'm not a big fan of spending that much money to show somebody something I did 9 months ago, but they're out there. And so is direct talking to clients, making appointments and seeing people. There's just a whole lot more. Social media has changed, a lot of things. A lot of things within advertising, a lot of things within marketing, the way we interact with each other, the way we decide to buy a product, the way we decide to move forward with a project. Social media has been huge. There's 2 kinds of people we talk about in social media. I talk about makers and users. Makers are people who make things. Users are people who use things. Consumers, they consume. I would rather be a maker. I will always be a maker. I'm not that much of a consumer. Don't watch a lot of movies, don't watch much TV, but when I do find something I like, I'll jump in and watch it. But it doesn't, if I can't watch it, it doesn't bother me. So here's the deal. Email and Dropbox are the new FedEx. We used to FedEx stuff all over the world. Now we just drop an email. Slack and text are the new email. In fact, instead of opening up an email program, I can grab my phone and text a client or a possible client and say, hey, some stuff that I just did. Go and take a look at it. Photographs are now a visual communication tool. What they were in the past were precious artifacts used to enhance the words. Copywriters were king, and the photographers would come in and make photographs. We're talking commercial photography here, by the way. Sorry if you thought this was going to be about weddings and portraits. It's not. It's not. We're talking commercial, B2B. Ads were created, photographer would come in, create a nice ad visual so that with people, when they're flipping through Life magazine or Field and Stream or whatever it is, that they would stop and then read what the copywriter wrote, and then hopefully the next time they're at the store, buy something. Photographs are now visual communications. Photographs are like, hey, mom and dad, I'm at the mall, by taking a picture of the mall. Photographs are like, hey, this is where I am today. This is what I did today. This is what I ate today. This is where I'm going. This is my belief system. These are my causes that I'm active in. All kinds of things. Just photographs. Sometimes without text. Most of the time without text. Content creators, we have to expand what our ideas of content. I think that the idea of giving credence to the idea that you can be a photographer and all you do is make photographs. What, are you kidding me? That's it? Nope. That's not going forward, folks. That's not going forward. There's a whole lot more to it. You got to figure out what you're going to add to it. Some people, of course, obvious is, add video. Some people adding those things were part of the image moves. I can't remember what they're called, but whatever it is, there are all kinds of stuff. Images are ubiquitous, and what that means is they are everywhere. Something like 1 billion images a week or something uploaded on Instagram. We have a flood of images. And now, instead of ad agencies controlling the narrative for their brands, the brands themselves control the narrative, and that is a huge, huge difference when the brands themselves own it. Because now they can pull in user content, they can approach the way they do their marketing way different than having to be filtered through an ad. So if you're not sure what I mean by brands control the narrative, take a look at Instagram and you'll see what I'm talking about. The brands with their hashtags and their user-provided content. Everybody's thrilled to hashtag, ooh, look, Audi. I took a ride in my brother's Audi. Boom, hashtag Audi. That helps Audi. That gives them a plus. It's not a brand new idea, but it's really, really taking off now because communication is predominantly visual. Images, photographs, that's the way business is getting done now. A little bit different than before. A little bit different than all text. It's photographs. Photographs mean everything. But you still got to talk to people. You're not gonna email your way to $1 million. You're not gonna email your way to every job that you wanted. You're still gonna have to go out and chat with people. You're still gonna have to use your personality and your art. I think, and I'm not the only one. I think Gary Vaynerchuk believes this as well, and others, is that time is the most potent asset we have. It's the most important. It's the only one that can't be refilled. You can make more money if you lose it. You can get a new car. You can buy a new camera. But you can't replace time. Time just keeps on marching on. And all of us that are a little bit older look in the mirror and go, whoa, what happened? Time. We communicate visually because it saves us time. I don't have to call my wife and say, hey, I'm on my motorcycle ride and I just got to Kanab. All I have to do is pull my phone out, take a picture of Kanab, push send, and she's got a picture. She knows where I am. I don't have to call her and tell her what hotel I'm in. I take a picture of it. Boom, she's got it. She tracks my journey. She knows if I'm late getting somewhere, she can send out the gendarmes and find out where I am. All this done quickly and easily with a photograph. And it's fun. Getting the attention in this space, that's the hard part. How do you get attention when there's billions of images? How do you get attention when everybody and their brother's got a camera in their pocket? And iPhones are are incredible. They make wonderful photographs. My friend Rachel in Poland is a full-time iPhone photographer. That's his thing. Well, one of the things you have to do is you have to be committed to communities where you are an active member. Maybe that's on Facebook, maybe that's on Behance or whatever, but these communities, all of them, have their own working and their own possibilities for sharing and their own possibilities for networking. And let me say that word again, networking. One more time, networking. If you're not networking, you're not working. Period. Network is your most powerful asset next to time. If you don't know who Zig Ziglar is, use a thing called Google. The sharing economy. Not really an economy. I mean, if you share stuff, it's not really economy, except that it is. It really is. It's a valuable economy, as a matter of fact. There's lots of stuff going on in the sharing community, the economy. And I don't know why these slides are this way, but hey, it is what it is. The sharing economy. It does exist. Maybe it's a fancier form of barter, but it's real, folks. It's really real. And you have to be a part of it if you're going to move forward in this decade. The economy of free, which is obviously an oxymoron. But I think what happens is we take the economies of the 20th century and of the 18th century, late 18th century. Do you realize that before the 18th century, there really wasn't really anything called the economy? I mean, we didn't have there were people who bartered, there were people who grew their own food, and somebody would make bread and they'd sell it to somebody or trade it to somebody for shoes or whatever it was. But now we have this free economy. To be a part of it, you have to share. To be part of it, you have to be part of the ecosystem that's doing it. You can stand on the side and go, oh, I'll never do that. Remember when digital came out and all the photographers said, oh, I'll never go to digital. And then when autofocus, which was probably before digital, of course, when autofocus came out, I heard photographers say, oh, I'm never going to autofocus, and I'm never going to do this, and I'm never going to do that, and I'm never... Bullshit. Everybody did it. Things just move on. Welcome to the 21st century where the sharing economy is real. Get on board or just face what that means. You're not going to be a part of it. You say, well, I don't want to be a part of something that doesn't make me money. Folks are making money everywhere on this. It's the new reality. Grab onto it. Understand. Did you ever hear of death to the stock image? A young man named David Sherry started giving away his photographs. And then he, a couple months later, he implemented a premium plan where you paid $9 a month and you'd get the free images and then you'd get a couple more images as well. And then the premium plan expanded and they started adding video. And I don't know how many thousands of photographers or designers or writers or bloggers or whatever are sending David $12 a month. I think the fee's gone up, whatever it is. Sorry, David, if I don't have it right. I don't know how many people are doing it, but they're in the thousands, if not tens of thousands of people based on getting David's work. And David goes out and hires photographers to shoot for him. They're nearly completely released. I think there's a few restrictions, television and record labels and that type of thing. But everything else is, use them forever you want. Simply amazing possibilities. 10,000 premium members is what I was told. So it's $120,000 a month. I'll let you figure out whether this works. But it's, certainly a nice living for David. These are based on numbers that I was able to find on the internet, so they may be off. Don't quote me on these exactly, but they're, should be pretty close. The Unsplash revolution. Oh, yes, Unsplash. That's that thing a lot of photographers hate. They just hate Unsplash. Oh, they're giving away pictures. Yeah, they are. They're giving away pictures. Big deal. My take on giving away pictures is you're a commercial photographer. You do assignment work. Okay? Go on Unsplash and ask Unsplash, do the search on Unsplash and ask Unsplash if they have an image that would have worked for your last assignment. They don't. If your last assignment was to shoot the mayor of your town, Unsplash doesn't have a picture of that. Doesn't have a picture of the portrait you had to do, or the headshots you did for the talent agency, or a picture of Prel shampoo over on the left so that the art director can drop in type on the right. They don't have that. They've got pretty pictures. They've got nice pictures. But they're free. And they're doing pretty well. Somebody sees some value in this because they just raised $7.25 million. Interesting. These are not my views now. I'm going to share those with you in just a second. These are not my views. Oh, they are my views now. 2 million. Yes, they are. 2,038,000. I've got, I don't know how many pictures, 42 pictures that I put up on there just for fun, just stuck them up on there. Here's a lighthouse I shot down in Maine. 409,000 people have seen it. 1,711 people have downloaded it. I hope those people are making a calendar out of it, doing something out of it. They were never going to hire me to go to Maine to do this photograph. Wasn't going to happen. They weren't going to hire anybody to go to Maine and do this photograph. This photograph happened because I happened to be there. So, the next words out of a lot of people's mouth is, well, yeah, they're wrecking stock photography. Oh, trust me, stock photography screwed up a long time ago when Geis Kawasaki and the boys decided to create iStock. That was the death knell of stock photography. Just dead. I didn't want my picture to live the rest of its life on a hard drive. When I pass on, because that's what people do, I don't want my pictures to be totally forgotten. Just, I created these things. They're like children. They're like little loved ones, right? They are my life. I love these things. I want them to have a life beyond me. And so if somebody created a calendar or stuck this on a travel brochure or whatever, my little picture gets to live somewhere. The majority of photographers who are on Unsplash don't give a damn if they make any money from being there. And so when other photographers who are money-driven photographers, nothing wrong with that, please, not making a value judgment, but when other photographers go, oh, they're giving it away. Yeah, they are. Oh, they're wrecking the economy. No, they're not. They're giving away their pictures. Don't they know that? Yeah, they know. They don't care. What if there's more to being a member of the photographic community than making a buck? Just asking for a friend. Brooke Lark she's quite busy photographer in Salt Lake City. She does, it says well over 100 images on Unsplash. I think it's probably a little more than that now. She has super high ranking, a lot of food, a lot of lay flats, etc. She teaches courses. She is a food blogger. She teaches recipes, a whole bit. She is remember at the beginning that I said, hey, maybe the idea of being a photographer is going to have to expand your content offering. Look at Brooke Lark. There is your model. Brooke is a great photographer, a really good writer, a great cook. She knows about food, and she's putting it all together to create content that people want to pay for as a photographer. If you take anything away from this, understand that attention is access. She's one of the most downloaded photographers on Unsplash, one of the most viewed. I think she's getting well over 1 million I want to say 1 million views a day, something, or a week, something like that. It's really outrageous. My friend Steven Zeller is getting, I think he said 2 million views a week on his images. Is that translating into work for him? Yes, as a matter of fact, it is. Does he care? Not really. It's great to get the work, but that's not why he put the work there. He put the work there because it's fun, and he's part of a community. Here we go, Sam Zeller. This is, there's a great stuff on here if you want to read it, but these are photographs. Ask yourself which one of these photographs here would have satisfied your last assignment. None. They're great little photographs. They stand on their own. They look great. Who's going to use this photograph? I don't know, maybe a blogger, whatever. This is not, the Hyatt in your town isn't going to call you and say, hey, there's this shot on Unsplash that we saw that we really like, and we're going to use it for the front of our building unless you can make us a better deal. Really? They're not going to use this picture on the front of their building because that's not the Hyatt. I don't fear Unsplash. I don't care. Read over here. I did a little test. I did a little questionnaire. Asked the members of Project 52 to please tell me their last assignment, what they did on their last commercial assignment. We have a lot of working commercial photographers now on Project 52. And I think we got 24 assignments. Not one of them could have been satisfied by an image from Unsplash. Not one of them. They were all proprietary images because there are photographers who get assignments. I'm really surprised that some photographers out there don't understand that. And then sometimes I think maybe I should be surprised that I'm surprised. But that would be a surprise. I don't know what I'm talking about. The Instagram conundrum. Instagram. I have photographers ask me, should I be on Instagram? And I say, yes, you should be. And then they get this grow and they go, oh, I just read this article. If you're going to be an Instagrammer, you got to post like 3 images a day. And I said, no. I didn't say you need to be an Instagrammer. I said you had to be on Instagram. If you want to be an Instagrammer, that's another way of making content, and that's a job. You're competing against people who do put up 3 or 4 images a day or are constantly on the road shooting amazing photographs. Yeah, and you're a part-time photographer building a business in Ontario. You can't compete with that, nor should you even try. But should you be there? Absolutely. What you shouldn't try to do is be a, quote, Instagrammer, unquote. You should have your photographs on Instagram so that when a client sees your name somewhere, and a lot of places are simply linking Instagram links now. When they see your name, they click on it, they can see your photographs. I think it should be a well-organized, absolutely, what's the word I'm looking for? It's an archive of your work. It's your special images you want to put out there because people will look. Are you going to go up and go, oh, how do I get followers? No, you'll get followers on your own. That's if you're like looking for followers, you're an Instagrammer. If you're a photographer, you just put your pictures up. That's all you'd have to do. Just make sure that you've created a group of images that go together and that show your work off. Pictures of you washing the dog may not be the right images, if you get my drift. May not be the right images. You need to have images that show your work. They're curated, so to speak. They're pictures that you have there to show people what it is that you do, because they'll come looking for you. You're not looking for followers. You're not trying to be an Instagrammer. You just need to be there. Instagram stories. This is a really, really important thing. Notice this graph over here. I'm not going to read these slides to you guys. I hope you understand, and by the 20-second slide here, that read the slides on your own. But the stories are really, really the big place that's growing now. And they can be a video, and they can also just be a group of images that you just string together with their little video machine. It doesn't have to be just video. It can be stills as well. Look at different ways that photographers are using stories. Just go out and find some photographers that have a lot of followers and check out their stories. Again, you're not doing it to get a lot of followers. You're doing it so that you can remain relative. You could take a shot a day and stick it in stories. It could live both places, on your Instagram feed and in a story. Because some people are going to ingest content differently than other people. Some people just go right to the stories. Some people go right to Instagram. Some people go to Behance. Some people go to Google+. No, I'm sorry, nobody goes to Google+. I was just kidding. But some people go other places to find their content. Not everybody consumes the same content. So you have to kind of be out there where it is. An archived group of images on Instagram is the way to go. Curated by you, your images, what you want people to see. And that's it. If you're a food photographer, I'd be very careful about putting a bunch of car shots and river rafting shots and you and your significant other, sitting with their toes in the sand. Be careful about that. Unless you're going to start being an Instagrammer or even slightly an Instagrammer, then do what you want. But if you're not interested in getting tons of followers, make sure it's curated, make sure it's up there, and make sure it's clean. I'm sorry, these slides take a while. Facebook Live video is pretty much the same as Instagram. It's pretty much the same engine and everything else. Should you be there? I don't know. Commercial photographers and Facebook, I don't know if it's a big deal. I really don't. But, if you have some ways to connect with clients in Facebook, then yes, by all means, do that. But Facebook archives your videos, and you can use them and go on. Remember, both of these are vertical video platforms, not horizontal video platforms. So, Instagram, I think you can shoot horizontal video and stick it in the thing, and it crops it or something. But just keep in mind that you've got to be there. The LinkedIn connection. Now, here's a place that doesn't get a lot of press, but is really important. LinkedIn for commercial photographers can be very, very powerful because you're talking to other businesses. Some people have said LinkedIn is Facebook for adults. Okay, maybe, but it's a deep community. Lots and lots of spammers on LinkedIn, and you'll have to deal with that. But the spammers are there because the clients are there. And the clients are there because they can find other clients. If you want to learn about LinkedIn, I'm not the guy to teach you. This is not a LinkedIn class, but there's some really, really good people out there who have really studied LinkedIn. Lewis Howes has some great stuff, and really delve into it. LinkedIn is where you can actually connect with art directors, art buyers, creative directors, etc., all over the world. It's really powerful. Definitely look into it. If you're going to be on LinkedIn, you've got to be on Behance. Behance is a place that Adobe. It's a place where creators can go and put up their work, and the bar at Behance is quite high. It's really pretty high, but it's also high because that's where the clients go to look. That's where they go. Behance is extremely popular with graphic designers, ad agencies, art directors, art buyers, and creative directors because they know the bar is high. LinkedIn will connect your physical image, not your physical, I'm sorry, your virtual image gallery at Behance with LinkedIn. Without that, there's no way for you to put up photographs. And I'm going to suggest, I know I'm getting real crazy here, that if you're a photographer, you might want to show some people some photographs. So get over to Behance. I think Behance is free. I know I use the cloud. I've got the Adobe Cloud. It's free for me. I think it's free for a basic account. All you need is a basic account. You know, you put up this cool project you did this month, and if they only give you 3 projects, great. On the 4th project, you get rid of the first project. You just keep it fresh. But that work goes onto your LinkedIn place, and it's a great place to be. Yeah, Behance is the one place that I don't hear a lot of people talking about, interestingly enough. Maybe it's because the level of work is so high. It is a great, powerful group of visual artists there. So definitely you want to get over to Behance. And like I said, Behance is where the people you want to connect with, they're already going there. Yeah, I always think of it this way. Let's say you had a high volume consumer product. You had the world's best cheese fries. All right. In fact, your cheese fries were so good, you had a whole restaurant devoted to cheese fries. Doesn't that sound great? Anyway, so you've got your cheese fries restaurant. Now, where do you want to put it? Do you want to put it out on Interstate 10 between Phoenix and Gila Bend? I don't think so. Ain't nobody out there. Or do you want to put it in the mall, where there's a whole lot of people already coming to the mall with credit cards and cash in their pocket, and they're hungry? You want to be there. If Behance is the mall, you already have the eyeballs. You're not on Behance. You're not out there like, oh, how many followers do I have? The followers are there. The followers are there. This is probably why it doesn't get mentioned a lot in social media circles, because so many social media people are social media, capital S, capital M, because that's their business. And your business is photography. Your clients are already there. YouTube, I think, is the place to be for photographers. There is so much work on YouTube. And no, I'm not saying, hey, guys, you got to go on YouTube and show people your workflow in Lightroom. You know, the next person who says workflow to me, I might just punch them in the face. I'm so tired of workflow. And then you go and see what it is. And first I open the image. No shit, Sherlock. Anyway, don't have time for that nonsense. Time is a very important asset. But you got to be on there. Maybe it's slideshows. Maybe it's behind the scenes. Maybe it's a short video showing your possible clients, how you solved a problem. You're not teaching photography to other photographers. Every time I see a photographer go on YouTube, they're teaching how to make a white background. Is that your job? Leave that job to us old timers. If you're trying to be a photographer, you need to talk to clients, man, not other photographers, because I'm guessing, and again, sometimes I go way out on the limb, I'm guessing other photographers are probably not going to hire you to do photography. Okay? Clients do. Talk to the clients. You want a client-facing content. It can be done. You have to think a little bit. Showing a client how you solved a problem is way more important than showing Billy Joe down the road how to put a highlight on a beer bottle. Let Billy Joe figure that out. Your job is to talk to clients. You also have other ways. You can blend your video. You can bring more and more stills into the video. You can create content that is directed totally towards clients. How about a YouTube channel that talk to clients about the new methods of solving the problems that they have out there? You know, they've got this problem, they've got that problem. You're in the business, you know what the problems are. Maybe you target that. Maybe you only do one video a month, but it's such a good video for clients that they start to pick you up because it's a powerful medium. I don't mean to say, again, that you should be a YouTuber. No, you should use YouTube for making contacts, for introducing yourself, for letting people know what it is you do, how you do it, why you do it, what your passions are. Maybe maybe it's a place to put videos of stuff that you're experimenting with in the studio. It's really powerful. The next thing up is Facebook Watch. If you're not familiar with Facebook Watch, it is a content network similar to Netflix or Amazon in that Facebook is now creating content. Mike Rowe, the Dirty Jobs guy, has a show on Facebook Watch. There are many shows on Facebook Watch. These are shows that are independently produced. They have advertisers, backers, producers, the whole bit. And this is another place that is growing faster and faster and faster. The bar's a little bit higher at Facebook Watch because it's not YouTube. They're not looking for, gamers and, that type of thing. It's very, very a powerful network. But because the bar is high, you're going to have to work quite efficiently and quite creatively to find ways to get involved in Facebook Watch. It is going to be big, really big. It's got the power of Instagram behind it. There'll be a lot of cross promotion going back and forth. The Facebook stories is getting bigger and bigger. So you will see a lot of action on Facebook Watch. Again, it's a great place for us to show content. Personal assigned projects. Now, I'm a real big believer in personally assigned projects. I think if you're not shooting for yourself and you're not marketing, then I really wonder what the hell else you're doing. You should be shooting constantly. New work is a great reason to contact a client you haven't worked with before. They've seen your work, then they saw your work, and now you've got new work to show them. Keep them in the loop. They start being appreciative, especially if they may really like the work. If you're a commercial photographer, you should be in the studio shooting at least once a week. Joel Grimes was at Capture PhotoCon, and we were having lunch, and he said he does a personally assigned photograph every week, 52 pictures a year, minimum, 52 assignments a year. He shoots every week for himself, and he makes himself do assignments. He generally focuses on the stuff that he's not really good at instead of the stuff that he really is good at, but he just keeps challenging himself. If you're not doing that, you're really, really in trouble. Recent study, and this was, I want to say 2 years ago. I believe it was PDN. It might have been Photo, one of the websites, I can't remember. How often photographers worked. They sent out a bunch of them. They got 100 responses, and here was the deal on the marketing. Not how often they worked, but how often they marketed their work. 80% was less than once a month. Think of that. 80% was less than once a month. 10% was 3 times a month or less. 5% was 10 times a month or less. And the balance was over 10 times a month. So it's been said that 20% of the photographers make 80% of the money. Let's look at this. 80% less than once a month. 10% 3 times, 5%, and 5%. I would say the 20% that are actually advertising, marketing, pushing themselves are making most of the money. And if we break it down further, the over 10 times a month is 25% of these. I'll bet you these guys and gals are making more money here than those 3 combined. That's the way life works. You can have what you want if you're willing to work enough to get it. Now, my thing is 3 contacts a day. Those of you who know me, those of you who know Project 52 or anything that WizWow, which is my online screen name, anybody who knows all that stuff, you know that I'm a big believer in 3 contacts a day. Now, here on YouTube, there is a video. If you do a little search here on my channel, you'll find a video where I actually do 3 contacts. I do them right in front of you. I do 3 contacts. It takes less than 5 minutes. In fact, I think it takes like 4 minutes, 3.5, 4 minutes. So when photographers say, oh, I don't have the time. You know what you're saying? I'm not committed. I'm not committed. I don't have the time to spend 4 minutes. And anyway, Cupcake Wars is on, Come on. There's no rule says you can't spend 10 minutes a day or make 6 or 8 contacts a day. None. I have a photographer that I mentored, just started shooting in March of this year, and it is now July 9th. He is getting work because he is marketing himself. It's a good shooter. It's a really nice style. He's in a town that's fairly big, Midwest town, fairly big, and he's already lining up work because he does this right here. He contacts people and says, hey, I'm a photographer. You need to use me. 3 contacts a day doesn't cut into your time. It doesn't come into your creativity. It doesn't cut into other things, maybe your other part of your life. It's just 3 contacts a day. What's a contact? Okay, that's an email, a phone call, mailing out a direct mail piece, answering an email, talking to an art director on LinkedIn, something where you've contacted them. Okay, that's it. So you could mail 3 postcards to 3 different clients that you have addresses for. That counts as 3 contacts a day. I'm down with it. That's it. You don't even have to make any more phone calls. You're good. Do you realize that's 720 contacts per year, and that 80% of the photographers just said that they didn't do even 12 a year? You think this isn't going to help you? What if you did 6? Now you're 1,440 contacts a year in a business where the 80% of the photographers admit that they do less than 1 a month. Now, big campaigns are great. I'm going to print this up and I'm going to make 500 copies of it, and it's going to cost me $12 a piece. And when we got mailing and I've got this big push, those are great. Do those. I don't have a problem with that. But I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying you need to do this every single day. The things that you've got to look for are media attention. You have to, in this world, media attention is absolutely paramount. People have to know who you are. Because in this society now, people knowing who you are is one of the ways that you get found. You could be relatively obscure 25 years ago. You're a food shooter in Chicago, and you put a picture in the workbook, and you send some direct mail out and stuff. But, now you're competing against photographers who have big time followers, and they're doing workshops in their studios. You've got to be known. You've got to be. Join every business group you can. If it doesn't work out at the end of the year, leave them and spend the energy on the ones that did work. But you have got to be passionate about meeting the people and getting out there and knowing what you want to do and having them know that you're the guy that does it. Why email doesn't work? That's because 95% of the time you sending out an email, you're asking, can I buy you a cup of coffee? What do you think of this picture? Why aren't you hiring me? Blah, blah, blah. Stop asking. Stop asking. Start sharing. You must find ways to offer instead of ask. Put your thinking caps on. Sharing, offering, helping, being an assistant to. These are the ways that you can market these days. It's a sharing economy, folks. The world has changed. Marketing's changed with it. Here's a couple rules. I will read these so that we have them in your ear and in your eye. Share often, and share without expectations. People say, well, how many images do you have to put on Unsplash before you get a job? I don't know, 1 million, 2, somewhere between that, 2 and 1 million. How's that? I don't know. If you care, don't do it. It's not going to work. If you care about an ROI, much of this stuff won't work. And that's why photographers who are older, like me, photographers who are older, they expect an ROI. That's how business was done 20 years ago. It's not done that way anymore. Sorry. It's just not. Create often. Create for the sheer power of creation, and then share it without expectations. Just do it. There's plenty of work. You'll get the work. But you have to understand this is now the gate. Engage people. Meet people online. Go out and meet people in the real world. Every Wednesday I go down to a place here in town, and I listen to a presentation by marketers. In most cases, they're telling me stuff that I've known for decades. But I go because I can meet other people. I can engage with them, and we can chat. It's really important, especially those of us who work at home, work in home offices, or work in quiet studios. You got to get out, got to meet people. Network or not work. It's your choice. Offer. Stop expecting and start offering your best to the world. Don't expect the world to come to you and say, hey, you're great, I'm going to give you $1 million. If you haven't given $1 million worth of value to the world, that's just not how it works anymore. Be consistent. Put out new work as often as you can. Boy, this one's hard for me because I'm so busy doing so many things. This is really, really hard for me. But it's something that I identified. It's not a blind spot. It's something that I'm focused on, and I'll get there. And finally, be brave, be strong, and be patiently impatient. Yes, it takes a while to do this, and you should be patient. But you should be impatient in that you are busting your butt every single day to make as much headway as you possibly can. So this little video came in at about 48 minutes. Wow, I wish I could have done it in 12 minutes, but then I could have done it like this. Share often, share without expectation. Create often, create with the sheer power of create. No, that's not going to work. I do all these things for fun, and I do them. Actually, I share here on YouTube and other places. I create. I engage people. I offer. I do all this stuff because this is my way of doing what I preach. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, there's a subscription button somewhere here on YouTube, and a lot of people go, "Oh, it's over here." If you can't find the subscription button, it's okay. You probably move on. But if you would like to subscribe, click that, and you'll get a little ding every time I put up a video. Most of my videos are not 49 minutes long. This one was. I'm so sorry. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care. See you next time.